everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore
coming at you once again.
And this video is about you. It's about everybody.
It is. And so
when you say, hey, everybody, that's literally, you're literally doing the video right in that moment.
Yes. So yes, we're going to get into what the Lord is talking about tonight or this morning or whenever you see this. But before we begin that, we do want to give a huge thank you to everyone who continues to give and support what the Lord is doing in our lives. And it's just amazing to see how God just continually provides for all of our needs, but also goes above and beyond. And
I know,
so
right?
It's just, it truly is.
I'm still geeking
amazing.
out about the birthday thing.
Yes.
I'm just like, wow, Lord, you really did bless her. You just blessed her so much. Thank you.
Yes. And and we are support based, so if you would like to give, you can. We have a PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App below, and you can click any of those and give there.
And you know what? The truth of the matter is there's a divine reversing that's going to come, and we are going to be on the side of the ones who are now helping others get to the other side of the Jordan and get to their dream and build their you know what I'm saying, build themselves up and be to them what others have been to us, you know. Now I'm just go roll right into the video, okay? But yeah, so today's video is about remembering. You know, yesterday was about remembering what you've gone through, but today is about remembering those who have gone through it with you. Listen, there are people that have been with us through this journey off and on the whole time. You know, there's people, and I'm not just talking about giving, but on the giving piece, there's people that have been giving to us the whole time. Yeah. The whole time. There is one particular person, I'm not going to say their name, but it's almost like they've been cheering us on this whole time, and then it's almost like the last quarter of the race. They literally just jumped into the street with us, and they're running right alongside of us. And they're like, I'm just going till the Lord tells me to stop. I'm just going, you know?
Which is really cool because, you know, in these long races, since we've been talking about just the idea of ultra marathons, it's like God sends, or like, getting ahead of myself, there are pacers that are in the race, and you know, there can be people that God puts in your life that they're literally running with you. The whole job of the pacer is to be there to support the one going through the journey, and they're there to just keep them motivated, keep them going, keep them encouraged, so that they can do what they need to do and be able to run that section or course of the race. And a lot of times it's very strategic when they choose you know, their pacers that are going to go with them, and God can be very strategic in whom he chooses to bring into your life for a season or a time. And so we've just, I don't know, it's like you were saying, seeing that, and how I feel like it's like we have a pacer with us this whole time that's just like, I'm right here with you. Like, let's go. You know?
Very, very secret. Very like, it's not like, it's just very, very cool how God does stuff. It's like, some people, they don't want to be known. They don't want, it's like, that's great. You got to respect that. You know, a lot of people don't really. But the bottom line is, like, we have had so many people along this journey giving to us. We call it the spiritual Gatorade. You know, whenever we, you know, people send us emails and there's someone right now that sends us literally blog post level emails. And it's just like, it's like, you should have your own YouTube channel. You know, let's look at all this. This is amazing. Like, what is this? But it's like very encouraging, you know. We've been able to meet people in person. Sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, you know. But the bottom line is, God's kept people in our life, and sometimes God has to remove people, right? There's like times and seasons and all that, but it's like, man, you just don't, anyone who is successful at anything, you know, you don't get there on your own. You don't. God himself sets a heavenly precedent by being in the center of a throne room surrounded by 24 elders. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on. It's really more of God setting a precedent for like, hey, reality as I decree it is about relationship. Mm-hmm. You know? And so we just want to give a huge, huge, huge thank you to everyone who's ever been there for us, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, like with a good comment, with with giving financially. That's, I mean, obviously that's a huge deal. But there's been times where we've come to visit people and they've opened their home to us, mm-hmm. and we've met people, and it's just been super cool. People that maybe have only come into our life for that brief moment, mm-hmm. and it's like, what a significant moment, you know? And it's just been a really it's been a really awesome time just continuing to remember who God's brought in and what he's done. And the Lord's like, and Dev, you and Michelle, you've been that for other people, mm-hmm. you know, and then other people have been that for other people. And it's like, you can see God's like, see, that's the divine economy right there. Mm-hmm. You know, you might have this, but then they have that, and then they go and give this to that person, and that person gives to this person. And there's a constant giving of mm-hmm. spiritual and earthly and soul things, spirit, mm-hmm. soul, body, just going throughout the body of Christ and just building each other up in love, just like it says in Ephesians. And then there's also people that we've never met, we may never meet, but they've been there for us in so many ways, you know. Yeah. Dutch Sheets, mm-hmm. Lana Vassar, Kay Nash. We had a long Kay Nash season there.
Yeah. Like prophetic voices, you know, mm-hmm. Joseph Z, like just different people in different seasons, like over these Joseph years Z. That God has highlighted or brought in to mm-hmm. just kind of, and it always lined up with what the Lord was speaking to us at that time. Yeah. And so there's just been so many seasons where it's like, oh man, God's really just having us listening to a lot of their videos. Yeah. But then there'll be times where it's like, oh, the Lord's not leading us in that way, and
then we cry.
No, but then it's just like,
you go boo.
Some might come up again, and you know, but it was just amazing to see how God was always using them as confirmation for what he was already speaking to our hearts. And but then also for us, we've just had seasons of worship where it's like certain like songs are just like the heartbeat of that season. And I just remember there was a time when it was like a Hope Dar season. We were like listening to all of Hope Dar songs, but it was also kind of a time where God was just really investing literal, like he's like, I'm talking about hope. I'm talking about just
literally everything, you know, is
like,
hope.
It was like, oh wow, okay.
It's like, and then let's bring in this worship leader, Hope Darst.
Yeah, and it was just,
and we actually got to meet her.
We did
once, just randomly at some open house, and it's like, there she was. Michelle looked up. She was looking upstairs. I was like, oh wait. I was like, whoa, there's a family up there actually already. And I was like, okay, because we were in the front door. Yeah. And you were like, that's Hope Darst. Yeah. I was like, no way.
Which is crazy for me to recognize somebody, because I don't recognize people. But the reason was because that was during the season. Yeah. We were literally listening to all this worship music that was that she had been putting out. Yeah. And that's just where God had us. And so it was just kind of crazy. Like, wow, Lord, only you can orchestrate these things. And that's been from the beginning. Like in 2017, God just had certain songs and worship.
Stephanie Gretzinger. Yeah. She was the first runner. Yeah. Her and Kim Walker Smith. Yeah. They were our first runner in Jesus Culture.
Yeah. And you know? Yeah, and then we just had so many different seasons, and you know, with just different worship songs, groups. leaders. But again, it's all tied into what God was speaking to us, what his heartbeat was for that time and season. And it's so interesting too, because really for us, the first, I would say 2018, 19, 20, 21, those first basically
4 years.
4 years.
That's 4 years.
There wasn't a whole lot of like relationships that God had like really just allowed us to connect with in a way where it was like really trying to build relationship. But then there came this time when God's like, he literally started opening up some just people that we can talk to on a more regular basis. And so that's been just an amazing journey there too, just seeing how God has brought in people into our lives that we can have like with us in this journey. And so that's been really awesome to see how the Lord does that. And just like you're saying, like times when we've gotten to meet people and now just being able to
it's just been so good.
Talk more. And
Marco Polo has been a lifesaver.
It's been really awesome.
It's funny because I think the person that God used to break open that door or to break open that seal, the Lord spoke to her son and said, "Hey, Mom, I think you should give them your phone number." And she was just like, "I don't think so." But she prayed about it. She was like, "Hey, I'm just doing what I feel like the Lord wants me to do." And we were right at the time where that was like so perfect, right? Because the Lord was like, "No, no, 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 no," and then suddenly, "Okay, you're good." It's hard to hear. That is hard to transition from no, 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 no to, "Okay, you're good now." Like, no, that's the enemy. Get behind me, Satan. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's like, nope. And then that same person introduced us to Marco Polo, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, and then I realized, ooh, man, it's good we didn't have that this whole time. That would have probably been unavoidable, and then we would have probably tried to attach to the past and keep communicating to the past. And I was like, wow, okay, well, never mind. But even now we have like just a handful of people that we communicate with. And it's just been really, really cool. Just so super cool. So it's like you gotta recognize that for your own life as well. It's like, as you're getting ready to come to the end of this race, as you're getting ready to finish your 18 coconutties, your
coconut
your cocodona, your coconut donuts.
Those are tasty.
That 250-mile race, basically. When you're coming to the end of this long race. Did you guys notice all the longs I put in that title? But anyway, you just have to remember, because somebody was doing that. I forget, was it the lady you were watching? She's like, you just come toward the end and you realize how many people have helped you get here. And you didn't get here. Football teams are always focused on the one person. Churches are always focused, or they're focused on the quarterback. Churches are always focused on the pastor, and it's just like the pastor and the quarterback will be the first to tell you, it ain't about me. I'm just one person.
Team.
The actor of a movie. They'll be like, I was just the main character. There were other characters. There was a crew. There was a director. There was a producer. And then there was a bunch of people who provided the money for it to be produced. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you have to recognize. That's why there's all these credits at the end. And so it's, when you get to the end and you have that glorious, triumphant end to your story, you got to roll the credits and see, look at all the people that God brought in, all the people that God used to help you get where you're at. But that's it. That's the remember for today. Remember them.
Remember all those who have helped. And so
Yeah.
we do want to just say a huge thank you, truly, to everyone who
Ever.
listens. You know, everyone who has given, everyone
Prayed.
who prays, everyone who is
Everything.
has given words of encouragement. You know, that it's just, you know, it's an honor to be able to do this with the Lord.
Yeah.
But it's also just amazing to see how God works in his body and how he
On the
just,
flip side of the same coin is the body of Christ.
Yeah.
There's Christ and then the body of Christ. It's like you're a part of both.
Yeah. So we do pray that you guys are blessed and that you have a great time just reminiscing and remembering all those that God has brought into your life as well.
Yeah.
And so until tomorrow, we will see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.